Protecting my peace for so long, a little too good, now I'm so low. Watching reruns of the same shows. Almost every party I'm a no-show. Even with green lights I don't go. Never been sure, no I don't know. How does everybody else let go of the ego? Don't go out nearly as much as I should. Barely know the way around my neighborhood. I'm ruminating, I feel no good. Not living life like I know I could. Like I know I could. Like I know I should. Like I know I could. Like I know I could. Like I could. If you would show me, yeah. If you would show me, yeah, yeah. If you would show me, yeah, yeah. I spent so much time daydreaming, so now I don't know how I'm feeling. Don't know who's the real me. Might need my help and I thought I needed. I can see it. Need more healing, more believing, less deceiving. I don't go out nearly as much as I should. Barely know the way around my neighborhood. I'm ruminating, I feel no good. Not living life like I know I could. Like I know I could. Like I know I should. Like I know I could. Like I know I could. Like I could. If you would show me, yeah. If you would show me, yeah, yeah. If you would show me, yeah, yeah. I might need therapy too. Help dilute all the bad news, 'cause I just can't deal with the lose-lose situations you have to go through. I think I need therapy now. Recycling all the same doubts. Heard it a million times, 'cause I tell myself all the same lies. I might need therapy too. Help dilute all the bad news, 'cause I just can't deal with the lose-lose situations you have to go through. I think I need therapy now. Recycling all the same doubts. Heard it a million times, 'cause I tell myself all the same lies. Don't go out nearly as much as I should. Barely know the way around my neighborhood. I'm ruminating, I feel no good. Not living life like I know I could. Like I know I could. Like I know I should. Like I know I could. Oh, if you would show me. If you would show me, yeah. If you would show me, yeah. I had a dream last night. Did everything I never do in real life. I stepped into a room, told everyone to be quiet, 'cause I had something to say. Blew everybody away, wear whatever I want. Dressed in a gown, everybody's like, wow, where you going? Nowhere special, just going to the store. I think I'd have it all, tell you I have even more. Picking a plate, being a plate, she is unruly. Never seen her like this, didn't think it existed, no truly. Don't get in her way, she's not here to play, she'll get moody. But don't mistake this girl for being me, 'cause these are dream rules. This is someone else, I'm not myself, no, no. 'Cause these are dream rules. someone else, I'm not myself, no, no. Living in my dreams all night. Living in my dreams all night. All the problems disappear. She could tell you the things you wanna hear. She could read your mind and then she could lie of a little lies to tell yourself a lie. Never get it wrong, it's always right. Making the plate, being the plate. She is unruly. She's unruly. Never seen her like this. Didn't think it existed, no truth. Don't get in the way, she's not here to play, she'll get moody. But don't mistake this girl for being me, 'cause these are dream rules. This is someone else, I'm not myself, no, no. 'Cause these are dream rules. This is someone else, I'm not myself, no, no. Living in my dreams, 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 tears on my dreams, living in my dreams, living in my dreams, living in my
We're in trances, going off to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances? Empty-handed. You like fast life, you like to drive, get down and dirty, act like the bad guy. You want some love, you like when you feel like calling a midnight. You got the best of me, you got me losing sleep. I didn't hope for, baby, I was hoping maybe that you cross my path. I've been sinking lately, and it's hard to move. Think I'm stuck on you. We're in trances, going off to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances? Empty-handed. I wonder, would you love me better if I go? I'm not home. I wonder, can we trust the stars above to let us know? I'd go. We only got this life, no guarantees. The stars align. Follow your passion trail and try to keep an open mind. Hiding it by myself, no guarantees you'll find me. Said if it's faith you'll find me, leaving the past behind. We're in trances, going off to different places, different planets. Watch your aura pass me by, losing balance. What if we run out of time and second chances? Empty-handed. I wonder, would you love me better if I go? I'm not home. I wanna know, can we trust the stars above to let us know? I'd go. Whoa.
Ceiling fan blowing cold breeze on your body. I can't tell you really what it is, but you got it. Makeup in the morning, you got dresses in your closet, but you grab them tight, you in love with being modest. You a move body giving interviews, I'm just saying I'm amused, but you ain't even flexing. And you cool, tatted up, cover warmth, different vibe, you know improved, but you ain't even flexing. And you ain't gotta try too hard. Number one fan, your side, your applaud. Got me think about inside the walls. Words cut deep, it's like a sword. Making me better, you hotter than pepper, You with a big stepper who chasing a cheddar, All of these women, they not on your level, You like a mix of business and pleasure, You a move body giving interviews, I'm just saying I'm amused, but you ain't even flexing. And you cool, tatted up, cover warmth, different vibe, you know improved, but you ain't even flexing. 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 Ceiling fan blowing cold breeze on your body. I can't tell you really what it is, but you got it. Makeup in the morning, you got dresses in your closet, but you grab them tight, you in love with being modest. You a move body giving interviews, I'm just saying I'm amused, but you ain't even flexing. And you cool, tatted up, cover warmth, different vibe, you know improved, but you ain't even flexing. And you ain't gotta try too hard. Number one fan, your side, your applaud. Got me think about inside the walls. Words cut deep, it's like a sword. Making me better, you hotter than pepper, You with a big stepper who chasing a cheddar, All of these women, they not on your level, You like a mix of business and pleasure, You a move body giving interviews, I'm just saying I'm amused, but you ain't even flexing. And you cool, tatted up, cover warmth, different vibe, you know improved, but you ain't even flexing. 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 Ceiling fan blowing cold breeze on your body. I can't tell you really what it is, but you got it. Makeup in the morning, you got dresses in your closet, but you grab them tight, you in love with being modest. You a move body giving interviews, I'm just saying I'm amused, but you ain't even flexing. And you cool, tatted up, cover warmth, different vibe, you know improved, but you ain't even flexing. And you ain't gotta try too hard. Number one fan, your side, your applaud. Got me think about inside the walls. Words cut deep, it's like a sword. Making me better, you hotter than pepper, You with a big stepper who chasing a cheddar, All of these women, they not on your level, You like a mix of business and pleasure, You a move body giving interviews, I'm just saying I'm amused, but you ain't even flexing. And you cool, tatted up, cover warmth, different vibe, you know improved, but you ain't even flexing. 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 But you ain't even flexing.
Peace, 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 everyone. Peace, everyone coming back to the channel. I know I have not been here in a minute. We're definitely working and getting a lot done. We're coming to the end of our fiscal year. We're here in Moorish Simple of America. For those who don't know, we end our fiscal year in October, so we are in crunch time. This is the season where we're putting our best foot forward in our last quarter, getting everything done before October. I want to say shout out to everyone who's always coming in supporting. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Let's see. Of course, we got my husband, Brother Richard Neil Bay. We got His Majesty Magnificent Ill, our brother Chairman. Islam to you. We got our brother Swordfish. Peace, Sword. Sword, put your send your email address to my husband. I got something for you I found in research. It is gonna really knock that whole that whole Washington DC thing out the box once again. I found some more information, so definitely reach out to him, give him your email address, and I'll definitely put that in there. I gotta send you that. I definitely gotta send you that. I'm gonna also make you a mod here. Let me mod you up. But yeah, I wasn't even looking for it, and I saw it, and I said, "Hold on, wait a minute. I need to send this to I need to send this to Sword because this right here is even more proof. You know, we always got proof, but this is even more proof of, you know, these people not being able to make any true sense of what they claim. You know, it's always this claim about, you know, who we are and what we're doing and what we're not doing, and you know who our ancestors were. It's really weird, but definitely I'm gonna send that out to you so that you can get that. Yes. Right, right. Always trying to tell somebody who they are. It's just weird. I don't understand. I don't get it at all. You know, I try not to get it, but I mean, just the overtime in the hour-long shifts that they be doing to prove somebody that they aren't who their ancestors always told them that they were. But yeah, definitely. Shout out to you, Sword. I'm a We're going to go into a little bit of what's been going on here, and of course the geopolitical news. I'm going to put the link in the chat if anybody want to come up as well. I'll put it in here for you all. Let's see here. You say he already got caught in his lie. You just don't know it yet. Oh man. And then the love that he just has for OTK. I'm just like, you know, OTK don't even be on panels and he just be saying his name all the time. I'm just like, this love affair that he has in his mind for OTK is crazy. I ain't never seen nothing like it before. The way he be moaning his name, it's just weird to me. But yeah, I'm gonna go and share some things. I'm gonna share some things here. Let me let y'all up. Peace, Sword.
What's going on, sis? Peace. How you doing?
Oh, good.
Y'all cooking in here, cook.
What's going on, big dog? Richard Deal. Peace to everybody in the chat.
Yeah, I was doing some research on. Actually, I was doing some research on something totally different, just really dealing with like our banking systems from back in the day. And I ran up on this and I found it and I was like, oh man, I gotta send this to Sword. But yeah. You know, these, I don't know what it is, but man, I don't know why they started targeting OTK, because I don't know what it is, but it's just this love.
Peace to the room. Can I answer that?
Go ahead.
Peace to the room. Peace to the chat. It's nothing personal. See, Noble Drew Ali and a lot of our wild Indians hate to hear about spirit or law or order. But Noble Drew Ali showed us how to see certain ones. They scared of OTK because he might wake up the young generation, the real wild, wild Indians. Think about the ones that's out here doing what they're doing throughout America. If there's to take that energy and start forcing it against our real oppositions, man, hello world.
Yeah.
So when you hear brothers yelling, because I heard that in prison too, and shouting, but they say they cool, it's the spirit that's in them. It's like, man, let's get to it. And sometimes we got to hear it that way. Then sometimes we can hear it in an intelligent tone. I hear those brothers. It's Brother Sachi, Brother OTK, and even Chief Holiday. I was trying to build on the panel with him today. And he just like, no, man, but let me say this. He's like, man, that's T-Rex kicking in. No, it's the wild, wild Indian in you kicking in. You know what I'm saying? And I know how to get out their way and let them do what they do. Because it's going to be us one day, Noble Drew Ali said, to rule America. He didn't say the Moorish Temple of America.
Right.
Us, the true original ones.
Americans.
Whether you call it, there it is. Whatever you call yourself. America's not just made up Native Americans, Indians, or Moors. Say that again. America has never been just us. If so, $400, show me the records.
Yeah,
it's always been a heaven on earth. And I hear
a lot of Moors, I agree with you, a lot of Moors, and especially those in the temple. For some reason, a lot of us just believe that America is just, ours. So when you say that you are indigenous, once you say, well, Grandma always said we was, Indians, they start to push back and say, oh, well, no, that's not who we are. That's not a, those weren't names that we went under. But of course it was. If it wasn't, then Grandma would have never said it. We got to be practical. We got to stop getting caught up. America for Americans, right. And we're the true Americans, and it's really time for us to really put this work in. But yeah, that right there with yeah, that right there just is always weird. Listening to someone tell you that you aren't who your parents say you always were, who your grandparents said that you always were. Just someone to tell you that is out of pocket. I don't get it. I don't understand it at all, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Hey, I got some my bad. I had a call came in. So if y'all had said something to me, I couldn't hear it. I was waiting for the connection to come back. But I kind of noticed a few things that when it comes to people taking a position or taking a stance and want to question sources and stuff like that. Like if someone puts a source up on the screen, they'll say, well, it don't say exactly that. And it's like, oh, okay, I see the game that's being played. Okay, so if you need something that explicitly says what's coming out of my mouth, then that's fine. I'll go out here and get it. I'll find something that says exactly what we've been saying, because there's more books out here that tell the truth than the ones that don't.
Right.
So I'll go find it. And so that's why I've been laying low. I've been in the lab studying, researching, connecting the dots. And pretty soon I'm going to have some good stuff for the people.
Ooh.
Yeah, we finished. So I'm glad you said that about the DC stuff, because I found a collection of books that I'm going to read, but I've been, I decided to mentally hop on Spirit Airlines and go see what's going on over there in Africa. So I done came back from Africa because I got a lot of stuff that I was looking for, and I got the framework of what I know I'm going to work within. So now I done landed back over here in America as of yesterday, and it's time to go ahead and and tackle this DC stuff. So that was good timing. I found the video because I forgot whose stage we was on. So I couldn't find the original video with me, you, Truth, and homie came up there talking that foolishness. So
we
it was
was
definitely
on
good time.
we was on OTK channel.
Right. I couldn't remember. For some reason, I thought it was on Smoke Signal channel.
Yeah, we was on OTK. Or was we on Smoke?
Nah, we wasn't on Smoke. I went through his whole
Okay. All right. So then we
catalog like 5 times, every video.
Right.
And I was like, where in the world is this video? So, but you know what? Hey,
I thought it started on Sharice's channel to OT channel to Smoke channel to Bat channel to wherever OTK at now. They just mentioned his name. It was something like that, wasn't it?
I think it might have started. It might have started like that, where the conversation was on Sharice's channel. Then, it went to OTK channel.
No, you were right. You were right. Sis, you was right. It started on OTK channel. The challenge was that video got taken down. So every time I was going through his videos, I kept skipping over it because I didn't know it was down until I, typed in some stuff, and I was like, "Hey, OTK, is this video up or down?" Because I don't really know much about YouTube like that. So I didn't, But it started on OTK channel. So I got the video. It just I'll just take my time with it. Yeah, they messing with the wrong one. I take my time. I let the shock value go because I kind of see how YouTube work now. So just let the shock value do what it do, and then you wait till everybody calm down and you say, all right, now let's get to the real stuff.
Yeah, that's how you gotta do it. Just drop the world on them. They just don't get it, and I'm like, wow, what is I don't understand the vitriol. I didn't understand it when we was on Clubhouse. I don't understand it now on YouTube. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It is absolute insanity.
Yeah, I got some. You see, that's why, you got to be careful. Who you talk trash to, how you talk trash to them, because you never know what people's past life was or is. You got some people that are on YouTube that are like some professionals. They work jobs. They got really good jobs. They so they know how to put shit together. They know how to sit back and say, okay, what's going on? Let me take a step back and see what's going on. And then they put shit together. Then they say, okay, I understand my approach now.
Right.
So, and then you got the ones that are just wild, wild west gunslingers that just looking for that immediate shock reaction.
Man.
And sometimes you gotta let them happen.
That immediate shock, it don't last for long.
It don't at all. It don't. So you just sit back and you just take your time. That's what I did. At least I sit back and I say, wait, I'm missing something because this ain't right. So I took like 2 weeks off and I just said, okay, let me just sit back, recalibrate my brain, and let me just watch. And I was able to put together a pretty good strategy that I think is gonna shake some stuff up.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna shake some stuff up. They got the debate this week with Ling Ling.
Mm-hmm.
And
is that gonna be a paid debate? Or
yeah, he like a walking computer. I like that, brother.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pay-per-view. I think tickets are like $10.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and buy that ticket so I can get in there and watch that one because
that's gonna be a good one.
I got me a blacklist.
Hey, Sword Fish, you got the same laugh almost as Greedy. You almost sound like Greedy when you start laughing.
Yeah. I got me a blacklist, so
that's gonna be a good one because Ling Ling always knocking them upside the head with their own sources. from their so-called master teachers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
even
that was
know
my
why
first
you
time ever.
I don't even know
My
why you
bad.
want to even debate DNA when the DNA companies, they tell you that it's for, entertainment purposes. It's right there.
Oh, wait. Sister, OG sister, listen. This shit right here, when you, let me tell you, the type of shit that I think about, I would hate to be against me. Because I just sit back and I say, okay, so they leaning heavy on the DNA. Because they all, like, when it all fails, the DNA get pulled out. Okay, that's going to turn into a project too. I already started on it.
Look, I already started on a project with the DNA. And when I drop this project with the DNA, it's gonna roll heads so far. They'll never say those 3 letters together anymore. And any variation.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But you know what? I was on slavevoyages.org like 2 weeks ago. And you know how you can scroll in on the map? None of those locations are there anymore. They took them away.
Yep. Isn't that amazing? Do you believe in magic? Just up and disappeared. 64 points, 64 ports, just gone.
All of them gone. I was just like, hold on.
Oh yeah.
Because I was helping a sister was asking me, she's from Panama, right? And so she was talking about, how her genealogy and just the verbal, stories that she was told growing up. And I was like, well, let's go to Slave Voyages and let's look at the map. And when I tell you, I was just like, something is wrong. He broke the system with something.
Big time.
Woo! Oh wow. Yeah. So yeah, that's weird. That's really weird. That's what they
It definitely don't support their argument. The only thing that I don't like about that site is they combine the real data with the estimates. So it still give them a leg to stand on. But when you dig into that, what's that first tab called? The methodology and how they explain, everything that you see in the website. None of that stuff align with anything. And that's how I caught, what's his name? What's this guy? The Jamaican guy that's big in the conscious community.
Garfield.
Yeah, I caught him slipping on Clubhouse. Yeah, I caught him slipping, boy. And after that, I ain't heard no slave voyages from him after that.
Man, they want to be slaves so bad and want everybody else to join the slave ship with them.
Trying to get back to them slave boats.
Shout out to Bailey-Oso.
Shout out to Bailey-Oso. The only person I know laugh on the track.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but this is exciting times.
Peace. Can I get this off real quick?
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about those slave boats. Yeah. Then you mix it in with DJ Cuddy. Get the money. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Get the money. Yeah. That's that Aboriginal music. All right, y'all, carry on.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of that, I was watching the video, and I couldn't tell when you had went over and spoke with Cuddy, was he like disagreeing with you that DC was around? Because I couldn't tell, Cake Lover. I couldn't tell through the video because it would only like play the flash of it. So when around that time we were talking about DC being created in 1871.
Nah, he was telling the little boy that he was wrong.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's OTK son.
Right.
He said he must be mad. OTK ain't been in his life.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but that right there is something special.
Mm-hmm.
I said it's a special breed. That's a special breed. But they always, as soon as we put out a source, a resource, and we're like, look, this is a source right here. You can go and you can check out. One thing about it is we still got the tape.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't say, oh no, it wasn't there. No. This is it. We still got the tape.
It's on wax.
Yup. We can roll the tape back. Yeah, and I was looking on there on slave voyages. I said, this is crazy. Because I haven't been on slave voyages in a while. But then I went back and I was like, no, this is wrong. I said they broke the system.
Well, you probably saw that they updated the numbers. And from when I did that presentation on Sonetta channel, they actually reduced the number from 45,000 to like 42,000. So it's definitely not going in the direction of their favor. We're gonna have to go dig up some bones or something and put some names on them.
Yeah, they're gonna have to go dig up some bones because that's all they're gonna have left is to go start to dig up bones. And no matter where you go, the bones are still gonna be saying Negro, 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 Negro.
You know what? You just made me think of something. How wait. You just made me. How is it possible to find a bone that's dated, Lucy, to be what, 300,000 years old, but you can't find bones from 200 years ago?
Yep.
You know what? I might be.
I'm trying to figure out what do they do with their bones because, over here you can go. They got grave robbers all day long. You see what I'm saying? But over there, it's like when you ask them, "Where's your?" You can ask them like, "Where's your great grandparents buried?" And they can't even tell you where they buried at. My family in Georgia, we have all of our from early 1800s buried on the land where the church is at.
You know what you mind sharing what area?
Yeah, it's in the
You know what? Let's talk about that offline because I can probably. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some stuff that I want to share with you that I didn't know that you had lineage in Georgia.
Oh yeah.
That's where I'm born and raised, and that's what going back to the 1800s, the majority of all my lines is in Georgia. And it really don't splice out until I get to like the early 1800s. But I want to I definitely want to talk to you and brother Richard Neal Bay offline.
Oh yeah, definitely. I got Georgia in Jekyll Island, to be exact.
Nice. Nice. Yo, you ever heard the story about the Ebos landing and the founder of Roswell? God dog, I forgot the guy's name, but last name Roswell. He was the manager of the Hamilton plantation, and he watched the folks get off the boat, and then he was the only one, supposedly a white man. He was the only person that was there to see them walk back into the water, and he understood what they were saying. Fresh off the boat, he understood. He understood the African language.
It was talking sign language.
My Lord. My Lord.
Told you that lad sound like greedy. That part right there.
That's that sign language right there. He knew exactly what they were saying. He didn't want no smoke.
And they said, gotta go, gotta go.
Oh my goodness. It's so many of the same stories over and over and over again. And then when you ask, what is the name? Like, why is it so hard to find one name of the slave that got off of the slave boat? Like, I just don't get that. Just one name. One. We're not asking for thousands, hundreds. We're not even asking for 3, just one. And for some reason that one is never available. Like, it never comes up. It's just, well, I know. Okay, so if you know, then I mean, because we can go and we can see Antonio the Negro, right? We see him, but it's not a slave boat, but we still see we still see early 1600s, you know. We still see it. We see everybody else that came over. And
yeah, they tracked the so-called white folks, but they didn't track their property.
Right.
That make a lot of sense.
Woo.
I'm glad I subscribed to your channel.
Like they're doing with this black bear. This black bear went from Tennessee throughout southern Illinois. Now it's going to Ohio.
Well, it started. You got to remember that the black bear started out, and that doesn't make any. You know, bears don't travel like that. So it started out in Missouri. Remember, how did it get across the Mississippi River? Now, let me know. How did this bear? I don't know. I don't know if you ever crossed the Mississippi from Illinois going into Missouri.
Nah, not up there.
Okay, it's huge. All right.
I can imagine.
So just imagine this bear swimming across from Missouri to Illinois. No, they're placing this bear in these locations.
That's crazy.
Great. That bear went from Missouri to Illinois. He went.
Somebody bought us some floaties. Yeah, some floaties on the
Yeah, but don't talk about the bear, because you know that's my energy in the lower self. Big bear.
All right, I ain't gonna say that.
From Tennessee now in Ohio. Come on now. They moving this bear around. This bear is not moving by itself. Bears don't even move like that. So to have this bear just moving around from state, like this bear getting on Spirit Airlines and just getting flued out.
He found Harriet Tubman trails and railroad.
The Underground Railroad. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Harriet, she got him, the spirit of the bear got into him.
Yeah. You know, I ain't know you had a channel until I think the last time you mentioned it was like 2 months ago or something like that.
Oh, so yeah.
That's when I came and found
this black bear is coming out of the Mississippi River, y'all.
Man, hey.
The only time I crossed the Mississippi was when I went to New Orleans.
Okay.
That's the most that I done seen from the Mississippi, but I ain't been to like the Midwest and stuff.
Okay. All right.
Well, I've been to Chicago, so, but I never.
I say yeah, Chicago. Yeah, so you was at the top part of the Mississippi.
Yeah, I've been to St. Louis. But it never crossed my mind to kind of check to see where I was, because I wasn't really on the history stuff at the time.
Right.
So
yeah, so you was right on the river, St. Louis. The river is right there, the Mississippi River.
Oh, okay. So if you at the arch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The river is right there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we was in St. Louis. What about 3 weeks ago now? We was right there. We was right there at the arch.
Mm-hmm. I
But yeah.
wanted to go to the mound out there.
Oh yeah, we went to the mounds too. We did. Yeah, we went to the mounds at Cahokia, and then we was down at the arch. But you know what I noticed, and I never noticed it before. I've been going to Cahokia since I moved out here. I've been here for 10 years now. But my husband is born and raised here in Southern Illinois. What I noticed this time was right outside of Cahokia, it's a little small place called like Granite City.
Mm-hmm.
And the mounds is still in the same area. What I noticed is they're actually drilling the oil from out of the mounds.
Hmm.
And I said to my husband, I said, "Do you see the oil?" Well, they are actually drilling oil out of the mounds.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And they're gentrifying it. It's not even called Cahokia anymore. It's now called Cahokia Heights.
Yeah, they done turned into a neighborhood now.
Mm-hmm. They put a gas station right there now. They're getting ready for, the tourism. They put a gas station. Most of your, because right there in that same area, you got a lot of strip clubs.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff is just shutting down. Yeah, so they're getting ready to put new money right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need to get on back up there, man. I missed it this summer, but next summer I wanted to vote to Central and South America.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that's what 2025, and then 2026, it's time to go ahead and get over there to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm teaching myself different languages.
Right.
So that way I can read the old books myself.
Right.
Rather than relying on the translation, even though the translation can be solid, but I want to
be able to read them. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be able to read them. So, but one thing is interesting though. When I was up in New York, I ended up meeting a lady from the Cordova area in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting to kind of hear history from their perspective, because she is Islamic, even by her name and her culture and stuff like that. But when she talks about the Christian culture up in Spain as well, they kind of like separate it, if you will. So from our perspective, we would look at a Spaniard as a Spaniard.
Right.
But up there themselves, they are definitely kind of, I don't want to say segregated, that might be too harsh of a word, but they got their differences of opinion, and it keeps them away from one another. So it was interesting to kind of hear some history about Spain from her side, because she was saying that Castilian is a language that is close to Spanish, but it's kind of hard to speak from her perspective. So it was just interesting. We was riding a train from Newark to Penn, and so we had some time to kind of talk, and I had a lot of questions. You know me, I got a lot of questions.
Right.
So, but yeah, it was cool meeting them. One of them couldn't speak a lick of English, and the one that could brought her for her birthday. So they were just kind of like doing a tour of America for her birthday, and then I caught them on the way back when I was riding the train.
Yeah, Castilian is a more ancient language.
Right.
So you gotta be like one of my sisters, she's a Cordoba. Her last name is Cordoba. Her father's a Cordoba.
Okay.
She was born and raised in Brooklyn. And yeah, they look just like they look American. They don't look any different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, and she's always speaking about, you know, just her culture, how she grew up in America, and then, you know, her family back home, and even her family back home. When you look at pictures of them, they look like us. They don't look any different. They don't look African. You know, Africans have, or what they call Africans, they just have this distinctive look, this appearance. You know, the parents looks like, you know, they just look different. You know, they look different. Even the Eritreans, you know, because, you know, a lot of times they'll say, well, the Eritreans, they are, you know, they came from America and went and, you know, created Ethiopia. But even they have a distinctive look. They
That's where
don't.
Nipsey Hussle from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They don't look American. They have a distinctive look. You know, they look, to me, they look more like they are, to me, they look more what they would call, you know, like red dot Indian versus, you know, American, if I would use that as a phrase. I know that's kind of like a slur to say red dot, but, you know, more like a East Indian, I would say. Versus
Hold on for a second, okay? One second.
Shout out to Copper Goddess who came on. Shout out to L Way coming through. Yeah, y'all, we just talking about what's been going on and in the community, and, you know, what's going on in the political atmosphere. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen because I haven't heard anybody talk about this. I don't think people really understand how politics really works when we're talking about even on the, you know, on the national aspect, right? So unions, normally unions will create whoever they want, you know, they want to have as their president. So if we look at after the Civil War, and in my opinion, from what I wrote, what I've researched, most of the Civil War was done by way of civil lawsuits. That was the Civil War, civil suits, the majority of it. And when I look at what happened after the so-called Civil War, they no longer had slave masters, right? There was no more slave masters, but you still have the labor force. And so with the labor force, they went to create unions. And you still have these unions to this day. Most of your unions came out of, you know, after that 1865, 1870s, so on and so forth. And so the unions have been the ones who would create and support whatever candidate that they wanted to represent them, because that's what the president actually is. It's the president of the labor force. That's what the president is, the labor force. And so we're all grouped into the labor force, but a lot of times we have no union representation. And without us having any union representation, we get grouped in here, there, pretty much, and everywhere. If you even look at, if y'all go back to where they had tried to assassinate Trump a couple weeks ago, you'll see when he got up, he put his fist up. Well, that represents, the fist represents several international unions. And so when he put his fist up, that was a symbol to the unions, that they tried to get me, but they couldn't take me out. I'm still here. So he put a call out to the unions, much like when the brother down in Mobile, Alabama, threw up his hat, right? And that was a call of, it's about to go down. I need some help. I need some assistance. I need y'all to come through and aid me. And so that was the symbol that Trump used when he put his fist up. You know, a lot of people was like, oh, you know, he put up the conscious community. He put up the black fist. No, that symbol is older than the black fist. It is actually an international union symbol. Several international unions have always had that symbol.
Oh man, I thought he was saying power to the people. My goodness.
Oh, power to the people. No, he was saying black power.
Black power.
Put up a strong black fist. No. Oh man. But I don't think everybody is really seeing that. Kamala, I said somebody called her Kamala and Kamala Obama. I said, wow. But she is actually getting these endorsements. She's racking them up. She's racking up these endorsements with these unions. And it's crazy. It says Harris secures support from union leaders, right? Because the leaders are actually endorsing her, but the people that these leaders represent are not endorsing her. So it's so much, they put information out to make everyone believe and think that, oh, wow, this is what it really is. When you look into it, it's not really that. So the leaders are endorsing her, but the people, you know, the people is more than the leaders. The people aren't endorsing her. Just like when, you know, Trump had raised all those millions of dollars right after he had, you know, right after he had got those charges, right, when they convicted him. And then they said, oh, all these so-called black women raised $500,000 for Kamala. And it's just like apples and oranges. How could she? You know, $500,000 is laughable. It's laughable compared to what Trump was able to raise within 24 hours. It's like apples and oranges. And they're toting this whole theme around, like, you know, she is a woman and she's a black woman. You know, that this woman has never identified as being a black woman.
Never.
But you have this identity crisis that a lot of us have, especially our women. We have this identity crisis. So when we see someone who appears to look anything like us, that's in any type of high position, we tend to want to just get behind them and back them. And we don't even know what they are, if they're going to be a good representation of us. We don't know if they even have us in mind, right? We don't know any of that. We're just all about, well, we got to support her because, you know, she's a sister. She looked like us and she's one of us. And she's not. She is not. It's crazy because I see us talking all the time about how nasty, how vile her people are when it comes to food sanitation and the videos of the street food that, you know, the East Indians make and they serve to the public, and how nasty and disgusting it is, how we would never, ever eat any of that food, or, you know, want any of that food. But then, you know, the same woman who would say that she washed her collard greens in the tub. It's like a lot of things we don't do.
Real black woman.
None of that seems to be registering with us. It's like we forget a lot, and we're just basing everything on lookership, which observation is a part of, you know, the scientific method. That's normally the first part. But we got to get past the observation. We got to get past the lookership, because this woman still has not said that she was doing anything for us, right? One thing I can say about Trump is, you know, Trump had the remember the Platinum Plan, and the Platinum Plan was just for us. It was actually called the Black Plan, but Trump was like, it can't be called the Black Plan because you're not gonna be able to get no funding off of the Black Plan. You know, I can't. But if you have, you know, we're gonna change it, and he changed it to the Platinum Plan, and that's Ice Cube actually was the one who went so hard to make sure that we got representation and we got dollars. You know, this time go around, I think it is in much of our interest to not only go after, you know, the dollars and, you know, someone represent us, but we really got to get into taking our land back. You know, I'm really key on getting your family's land back that was stolen from you, claiming these land patents and perfecting these warranty deeds, because we're talking about property that was, you know, stolen. You know, property that was stolen. You know, they use different acts, like the Abandoned Lands Act that they passed, of, you know, when the refugees, called them refugees, the refugees and the so-called ex-slaves who didn't want to leave but still wanted to work on the land, and they was given protection by the Union, right? That's what the Union Army was, given protection by the Union. And under this unionized protection now, because they are federal citizens, or really property of the federal government now, you know, now they get to exercise their federal rights and usages and customs on private property. So a lot of our stuff just got, you know, it's just taken away from us right under our nose. So when you look at Harris and you see all these endorsements coming in, you know, she got an endorsement with the Teachers Association. She's getting endorsements everywhere from these unions, and no one is looking at it. All right, I'm gonna start reading this. Shout out to everybody that's coming in. If you haven't already, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Salute Hassan Tahir Show. Salute to Hassan Tahir Show. Shout out. Let's see. All right, CNN.
Hey, sister.
Yeah, I was gonna say, keep cooking.
I'm gonna drop for a few. I'm gonna come back on in a second, okay?
All right.
All right, thank you. Peace.
Peace. That's our brother Sword.
She's not like us. She's not like us. She is not us.
She's definitely
That's that illusion that Noble Drew Ali was speaking about. She appeared to look like us, but she is not us. She joined the AKAs and all that to look like us, to act like us. Her struggle and our struggle is very different.
Very different. Very different. So we look right here. It says Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz are rallying voters across the Midwest this week, looking to build on support from key union leaders as they promote a message of pro-labor policies that they say benefit the middle class. At the leadership...
Who's the middle class?
Right. At the leadership level, the Democratic ticket has been deemed a clear choice. Sean Fan, the president of United Auto Workers, who endorsed Harris last week and appeared alongside the pair Tuesday, called them a Democratic duo. The public show of support follows weeks of behind-the-scenes maneuvering to renew support from the unions that had backed President Joe Biden, who called himself the most pro-union president in history until he made a surprise exit from the race last month. Since then, Harris set out to prove she won't veer from Biden's agenda. So everybody keep asking, well, what's her agenda? She doesn't have an agenda. What's her agenda? Her agenda is Biden's agenda. I'm going to say it again. Her agenda is Biden's agenda. It is nothing different. This is the reason why she does not have an agenda put up, because her agenda is Biden's agenda. She's not veering away from it. Working the phones with union leaders, hold early campaign events alongside the American Federation of Teachers and the UAW, and notching the endorsement from a major hospitality union despite a proposal by former President Donald Trump to increase service workers' take-home pay. And the selection of Walz at the ticket numbers 2 is seen as bolstering those labor bona fides. Walz and his wife were both union members, and his tenure as governor includes infrastructure, climate, and paid leave legislation. It's very much the Biden agenda in a state where you can actually legislate an agenda. Seth Harris, Biden's former labor policy advisor at the National Economic Council, told CNN about Walz's record in Minnesota. It very much parallels what they did at the federal level. The union leaders who backed Biden and now Harris agenda wield an immense amount of power within the Democratic Party. And work is just beginning to try to turn their endorsements into member turnout in November. On one influential union, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, which represents a diverse set of industries, may remain neutral this cycle. Do y'all understand that? If the Teamsters don't endorse anyone, a lot of the unions, even though she has the backing of these leaders of several unions, the Teamsters is the union, y'all. The Teamsters have always been the union for a very, very long time. The Teamsters is like, y'all don't understand it. The Teamsters is like, we probably not going to be endorsing nobody. That means the Teamsters ain't voting. That means the Teamsters they're not voting. That's crazy work, because I've never known the Teamsters not to endorse a candidate. And whomever the Teamsters endorse is the one who gets the winning ticket. They always get the winning ticket. Says The union leaders who backed Biden and now Harris' agenda wielded an immense amount of power with the Democratic Party. And the work is just beginning to try to turn out their endorsements into member turnout in November. One influential union, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, which represents a diverse set of industries, may remain neutral this cycle, withholding an endorsement of the Democratic candidate for the first time in nearly 3 decades. But beneath the executive level, work remains to shore up support among millions of card-carrying union members who represent a critical constituency for both parties across the manufacturing heavy Midwest, and whose political allegiances often don't mirror those of their leadership. Meaning the union workers are going out and they're voting the opposite of what their leaders are endorsing. So all of this is really to look good. But when you really look underneath, you start to see, hold on, only the leaders are supporting this, but the actual laborers with the labor cards, they're the ones that's not supporting it. And the reason why they're not is because of the economy. People don't care about what you look like and what you're supposed to be representing. All people care about, so my husband is always talking about, which is food, clothing, and shelter. You can't afford food anymore, but at the same time, you have all of these illegal immigrants that's over here with $20,000
Make it plain.
on the EBT card, where they getting cash and medical assistance, and you can't even, they're getting cash, medical, and food assistance, and you can't get none. You try to get medical assistance, you try to get food stamps, and then they only want to give you pennies, and these people have thousands of dollars on their EBT cards. Make it make sense.
They know what they're doing.
And you can't even afford food month to month. You can't afford food week to week. These people have cash assistance. That means they got cash USD notes on their cards that they get reloaded every month faithfully. And here it is. If you go and you try to apply for social services, you getting denied. You go and you apply for Social Security, you getting denied. You are going and you apply for a loan, you get denied. But they got thousands that they get every month. Every month. And you're not getting any of that. Here it is. They didn't even give another stimulus check. People still waiting on the next stimulus check. They still ain't giving another stimulus check. It says, in a memo released Thursday, the Harris-Walz campaign said it plans to spend hundreds of millions of dollars throughout the fall to reach an estimated 2.7 million union members in battleground states. That means something when roughly 45,000 votes in key states decide the election 4 years ago, campaign manager Julia Chavez Rodriguez wrote in the memo. Yeah, it means a lot when your leaders are endorsing you, but the members aren't. It means a lot. It means a lot. Let's look at what Kamala had to say that she had for our people. Let's look and see what she had to say. Let me know if y'all can hear this.
Do you support reparations for Black people?
Well, listen. Again, we had over 200 years of slavery.
I can hear it. One.
At Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family.
The LIFT Act. What is the LIFT Act? Let's see. The LIFT Act. The LIFT Act. Let's look at this. The LIFT Act. It says Kamala Harris's Lift the Middle Class Act. Lift the Middle Class Act. This don't have nothing to do with reparations. The Lift the Middle Class Act has nothing to do with reparations. Says Democratic presidential candidate Senator Kamala Harris has called for giving a $3,000 per person, $6,000 per couple refundable tax credit for most middle and working class Americans through her Livable Incomes for Families Today, the Middle Class Act. The LIFT Act will provide significant tax relief and benefits, and according to outside estimates, would cost roughly $3 trillion over the next decade, the equivalent of about 6.5% of the current law revenue and 1.1% of gross domestic product. This doesn't make any logical sense at all. I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all, because most of us who filed taxes in 2020, 2021, started in 2020. So 2021, 2022, and 2023 end up owing taxes and have been filing the same forever, has never changed anything, never took any exemptions throughout the year, never had anything, just filed as they would do normally. And then everybody is like, how do I end up owing taxes? Make it make sense. So not only do you can't afford, food, you can't afford clothing, you can't afford shelter, because instead of getting free housing, you're getting kicked out of your home because you can't afford the mortgage or you can't afford the lease. But now you gotta pay taxes that you normally would receive a very small. If you did receive a refund, you would receive a small refund. But now, not only are you not receiving a small refund, but now you got to pay. This is crazy. Again, you think it's going to change because she appears to look like you? She said that she is doing the same thing that Biden did. She said that's her plan. Her plan is Biden's plan. There is nothing changing. They give billions of dollars to Ukraine. Billions of dollars to Ukraine. Israel getting Arab money. They've been they gave money to Cuba. Everybody get money except for us. We're not getting money. We're not getting land. They're not giving us anything. But we're just so happy that she's representing us. Let's continue to play this.
Family, a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of Black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects Black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That is absolutely insane. I'm not going to do only anything that's going to benefit so-called Black people. I mean, this, every time you ask her a question, it's just a word salad. Just get ready for your dressing, because she's going to give you a word salad. There's never anything that is direct. There's never anything that's direct. And that's why, it's crazy, because they, back in the day, they used to, a lot of people used to praise Trump. Trump used to be, he was at all the parties. He used to be everybody man's in them. As soon as he said he was going to run for president, that was out the door. Like, nah, you can't be, you can be anything but the president. Oh, you can be anything but the president. Yeah, that's quite a work right there. She is serious about providing no help. Yeah, she's serious about providing no help. But let's get on. Let's see. I'm gonna pull this up. But that's what's really going on in today's, geopolitical news. It's a lot more going on, but a lot of stuff is just smoke screen and mirrors. I just want to point out what's not being said. And what's not being said is it appears to look like a lot of backing. But the real thing is there's not much backing at all. That's just what it appears to look like. So we're gonna get into a little bit of some history. And get into a little bit of some history. So I'm gonna take a reading from our religious text, our holy book. And I'm going to go to the Holy Quran of the Moorish Temple of America, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Jurali by the guidance of his father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his father God Allah. All right. So I'm going to go to chapter 45. And chapter 45 is the divine origin of the Asiatic nations. The fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know their higher self and lower self. This is the uniting of the Holy Quran of Mecca for teaching and instructing all Moorish Americans, etc. So it's just not for Moorish Americans because, again, etc. says the key of civilization was and is in the hands of the Asiatic nations, the Moorish, who were the ancient Moabites and the founders of the holy city of Mecca, the Egyptians, who were the Hammatites and of a direct descendant of Mizraim, the Arabians, the seed of Hagar, Japanese and Chinese, the Hindus of India, the descendants of the ancient Canaanites, Hittites, and Moabites of the land of Canaan, the Asiatic nations of North, South, and Central America, the Moorish Americans and the Mexicans and North American, Brazilians, Argentinians, and Chileans in South America, Colombians, Nicaraguans, and the natives of San Salvador and Central America, etc. All of these are Muslims. The Turks are the true descendants of Hagar, who are the chief protectors of the Islamic creed of Mecca, beginning from Muhammad I, the founding of the uniting of Islam by the command of the great universal God Allah. So Muhammad was not the founder of Islam. He was the founder of the uniting of Islam, because Islam means peace, and he did not find peace. Peace was already here. All right. So let's get into some resources of the America, Utopia of Giants, a majestic city of colossal beings and riches. Let's get into it. So I'm going to take a reading out of this book here. And this is Aboriginal Races of North America, comprising biographical sketches of eminent individuals in an historical account of the different tribes from the first discovery of the continent to the present period, and the copious analytical index. So we are on page 138. Page 138. This is in our book nook on Mighty Networks, so you can check this out. This is definitely in the book nook on Mighty Networks. All right, it reads, I'm going to start here. Since we have here introduced the Shechem Wanna Dance, we will add the account of his last acts and death. One William Hammond being killed by a giant-like Indian. Being killed by a giant-like Indian near New York. Let me blow this up some more. All right. Giant-like Indian near New York about 1637. Captain Gardner told Wanna Dance that he must kill that Indian. But this being against the advice of the great Shechem, his brother, he declined it and told the captain that Indian was a mighty great man, and no man dared meddle with him, and that he had many friends. Sometime after, he killed another one, Thomas Farrington. And in the meantime, Wanadan's brother having died, he undertook his execution, which he accomplished. This was his last act in the service of the English, for in the time of a great mortality among them, he died, but it was by poison. Also, 2/3 of the Indians upon Long Island died, else the Narragansetts had not made such havoc here as they have. Right? So, not only did they kill him, but they killed a lot of the Narragansetts. So he was a Narragansett. They killed a lot of Narragansetts. So that would make sense, right? Because this is in New York, right? And they're talking about being around the Dutch of New York. This would make sense when you look at what they call the quote unquote African American burial ground in Manhattan, but really back in the day was actually called the Negro burial ground in Manhattan, but now they want to
come on, wake us up.
They want to change it to African American. Let me pull up. I wasn't even going to pull up that source. Let me pull that up. Yeah, because they're always changing something to make it African and African American.
Come on. Wake us up.
So here it is, right? They call it the African burial ground now, right? It says a sacred space in Manhattan. African burial ground is the oldest and largest known excavated burial ground in North America for both free and enslaved Africans. It protects the historic role slavery played in the building of New York. This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. These are not Africans.
Uh-oh. What you talking about, Sister K. Glover?
These are not Africans.
Are those Negroes? What's the difference between a Negro and an African? I thought we was all from Mother Africa.
Nah, G. We can't really see it in this one. Let me pull up another picture.
She mapping up, sourcing up, y'all. Y'all share this video. East St. Louis in the house too. Empress, they told me to let you know they in the house, brother. Salton Bay.
Islam. Peace. Let's see. I can grab a picture. I know Wikipedia got a picture. And see, this is what they don't want us to realize is that, the so-called Africans are not Negroes, right? And Negroes, so-called Negroes, are not so-called Africans. We're going to get into it. So this is the Negro burial ground. They changed the name from Negro burial ground to African burial ground on purpose, because they don't want us to know.
Confuse the people now.
Oh,
like
yeah.
we grew up confused.
No, not at all. So the Negro burial ground, it would make sense when we go to this book, right? When it says that, right? When it's talking about how they killed the Indian giant, right? The American Indian giant, who was a Narragansett. Now we know the Narragansetts, those are New Yorkers, right? So it says, this was his last act in the service of the English. For in the time of a great mortality among them, he died, but it was by poison. Also, 2/3 of the Indians upon where? Long Island died. Else the Narragansetts had not made such havoc here as they have. Do y'all understand that the Negro burial ground, they actually stopped excavating, because if they continued, they would have excavated all of New York, almost all of New York. If they kept digging, they purposely stopped digging. Let's go back to it. I didn't say this. They said this. This is the historic, the history of the burial grounds. They said it's the largest excavation. The largest. So if this is the largest, look, if this is the largest, because they're not even telling us how large it is. All they're saying is that the African burial ground is the oldest and largest known excavated burial ground in North America. Because they know that if they kept digging, they would have had to dig up all of New York. It's the largest. Because these so-called Negroes, these so-called Africans, were the Narragansetts.
Wake us up.
That was poisoned. You think he was the only one that was poisoned? It says that he was poisoned. It says he was poisoned in 2/3. It says also 2/3 of the Indians upon Long Island died, else the Narragansetts had not made such havoc here as they have. Killing us off. Killing us off. Yeah, killing us off. So when we go to some of just our ancient history and finding out more of who we are, and really listening to grandma and granddad about who we are, we get to tie in our true history. It's always good to be able to just research where you live and where you're from. That's where you're going to find out a lot about you and your family ties. So let's go to I want to go to Verrazano, right? Because I want to get a little bit more into these Asiatics. I want to get a little bit more into these Asiatics. So this was the voyages of Verrazano, Giovanni di Verrazano, 1524 to 1528, right? And it reads, seeing that the land continued to the south, we decided to turn and skirted toward the north, where we found the land we had sighted earlier. So we anchored off the coast and sent the small boat into the land. We had seen many people coming to the seashore, but they fled when they saw us approaching. Several times they stood and turned around to look at us in a great wonderment. We reassured them with various signs. See, me and Brother Sword was talking earlier about signs, right? Because the only way they could speak is through sign language, right? We reassured them with various signs, and some of them came up, showing great delight at seeing us and marveling at our clothes, appearance, and our whiteness. Now, we talk about whiteness. I want to pause real quick. All right, we talk about whiteness. I'm going to go to the etymology. I want to go to the etymology. Because it does not mean like white people as, you know, today, quote unquote, white people. But whiteness, I want to go down here. The meaning morally pure was in Old English. The slang sense of honorable, fair is by 1877, American English, right? But I want to go down here. It says the racial sense of those races, chiefly European or of a European extraction, categorized by light complexion, is recorded from 1600s. All right. But white and whiteness at that time meant chiefly European or of a European extraction. It didn't have anything to do with, you know, what you look like as far as your skin complexion. So it didn't have anything to do with your hue. It had everything to do with you being a European. That's what whiteness meant, or being white. So even when you hear phrases like free white persons and, you know, things of that nature, it talked about Europeans, you being chiefly European. So let's get back to Verrazano, right? Says that showing great delight at seeing us and marveling at our clothes, appearance, and our whiteness. They showed us by various signs where we could most easily secure the boat and offered us some of their food. Now we know, you know, when you come to our house, we're going to offer you what? We're going to offer you food. We were on land, and I shall now tell your majesty briefly what we were able to learn of their life and customs. They go completely naked except that around their loins. They wear skins of small animals like martens, with a narrow belt of grass around the body, to which they tie various tails to other animals, which hang down to the knees. The rest of the body is bare, and so is the head. Some of them wear garlands of birds' feathers. They are dark in color, not unlike the Ethiopians, with thick black hair, not very long, tied back behind the head like a small tail, right? Talking about braids. As for the physique of these men, they are well proportioned, of medium height, a little taller than we are. They have broad chests, strong arms, and the legs of their parts of the body are well composed. There's nothing else except that they tend to be rather broad in the face, but not all, for we saw many with angular faces. They have big black eyes and attentive and open look. They are not very strong, but they have sharp cunning and are agile and swift runners. From what we could tell from the observation in the last two respects, they resemble the Orientals, particularly those from the farthest Cenarian regions. All right. Now, the Cenarian regions is what you would call China, right? What they call the Chinese regions. Let's go to read some more about what they look like. This book is called Marasia. It says, all right, it's going back into the Asiatics, right? It says, for Verrazano, this coastal territory, let's see. For Verrazano, this coastal territory was para-Asian, separated by water from the known continent of Asia. Separated by water from the known continent of Asia. He wrote to the French king on July 1524 that all this land, or the New World, which we have described above, is joined together, but it is not linked with Asia or Africa. We know this for certain. Yet the navigator's descriptions of the people and fauna in the lands he explored are rife with Asian associations. He describes the indigenous peoples of the regions as having big black eyes, an attentive and open look. They are not very strong, but they have a sharp cunning and are agile and swift runners. From what we could tell from observation, in the last two respects, they resemble the Orientals, particularly those from the farthest Cenarian, i.e. Chinese regions. He noted that some have other hair arrangements, such as the women of Egypt and Syria wear. And these women are older and have been joined in wedlock. Both men and women have various trinkets hanging from their ears, as the Orientals do. Nothing the sweet fragrance of local trees, Verrazano proposed that they belong to the Orient by virtue of the surroundings, and that they are not without some kind of narcotic or aromatic liquor. When the Verrazano voyages started to inform the maps, this association of the environment, inhabitants of the territory, showed up as Amerasians mingling of locals. The Amerasians mingling of locals. The so-called Verrazano globe at New York's Morgan Library shows the Asian Emporium of Katagara, which Ptolemy had placed in the southernmost part of Asia, in Peru. All right. A detail find retained in his map, because the original Asia is here. That's the reason why Prophet Noble Drew Ali reminded us that we are of the Asiatic nations. So what we see today when they're talking about, Asia today and it being over across the water, all of this was connected at one point. At one point in time, there was not even an Africa. That place over there was actually Ethiopia. Let me show you on the map. All right, this place wasn't even as large as it is now. And this place was called Ethiopia. And the ocean over there was the Ethiopian Ocean, or sometimes called the Ethiopian Sea. This place over here was Ethiopia. Sometimes it was called Nubia, Kush sometimes. Right, so that makes sense when Prophet Noble Drew Ali says that old man Kush and his family went over there to set up kingdoms. And old man Kush being the son of Ham. So it makes sense. These are Ethiopians or Kushites or Nubians. Different names for them. Most of this place was still underwater. And this place over here was Ethiopia. It wasn't Africa. Not at that time. That is a modern name for that place. And then you have older maps that shows La China right here, but was called China right here, being a part of La Floridas as well. So when it talks about Verrazano, right, labeling the people over here Amerasians, right? Amerasians is showing that they are Asiatics. Peace, Snellback. You can unmute. Yeah, you can unmute. You on the you're up here on the panel now. Let's see here.
Peace. You were talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was trying to get our brothers in the panel to come on up. I ain't gonna say no names. And those who are educated know how to carry intelligent tone. Let y'all build. What up?
Okay. Peace, brother. Red Squid.
He on his way up.
Salute. So when looking at this, and we're talking about Asiatics, and even the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad called
That's
us
right.
the Asiatic black man, right? Taking the ancient name and then mixing in the most modern name that we was going by, which was the black man, right? Bringing it together. Prophet Noble Drew Ali calling us the Asiatics of of North America, and then breaking down the different
Can I add something when you get done?
Go ahead, definitely. Breaking down the different aspects of the different nations and uniting the different nations.
Could you pull up chapter 25 for us?
Definitely, I'll pull up chapter 25. Being able to break those down and bring those together. Go ahead, Neil Bay.
Peace to the room, peace to the chat. And I want to share this because this is ancient Moors, Hebrews, indigenous, whatever title you use. Here in America, you can use the first verse, and I'm being what I know, not what I've been told. The first verse in self-government. And it declares that you're indigenous to the land. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you suck. The courts won't fight you over this. Think and you can save yourself. With that, I yield.
Oh, I thought you was going to get into it. But yeah, the courts won't fight you. We have the we have the Moorish American Families Ministry, which is our version of the Children and Family Services, like DCFS, or some places they call it DIFIS, whatever you call it, Child Protective Services, right? Our version of that. So whenever there is any opposition with our children and, their parents, a lot of times in school, in hospitals, is the most opposition that you receive when it comes to us and how we deal with our children. So with us having our own version of that, we all automatically send in our missionaries to manage that situation. Look, we have our own version. This is our laws that, I constantly tell people all the time, like, our religion is our law and our law is our religion. There is no separation of quote unquote church.
That's right. Actual facts.
We don't do that. We have Muslim customary law. It's
Hold
not.
on. Wait. Empress. See, people think when you say Muslim customary law, that's the Sharia. Can you explain what's the difference in the Muslim customary law and Sharia law?
Yes. So Muslim customary law is laws that we have been utilizing since time immemorial, right? Sharia law actually comes out of Muslim customary law. So if you go back, so if you go back to the Pact of the Believers, right? The Pact of the Believers is what actually created Sharia law. The Pact of the Believers is what created the Quran, right? Or what they call the Noble Quran, or the recitation. This is what adopted prior to writing and formulating, okay, these are the customs and the usages that we're going to follow as a society. Prior to that, you had the Pact of the Believers, or another name is called the Pact of Umar, right? This is prior to. And with the Pact of the Believers, or the Pact of Umar, that's how you got Sharia law. That's how you got Quran. Prior to that, we still had laws, customs, and usages that we always went by.
So are you telling me that Noble Drew Ali taught us the original man has always had law and order?
We've always had law and order. That's just like in your home, right? Your parents have laws and order that they've instituted for you. You know, if they say turn your TV off at 9 o'clock, don't turn that TV back on, you know not to turn that TV on, because if you turn that TV on, there's going to be consequences. There's going to be repercussions for cutting on the TV after 9 o'clock. If your mother say be in this house when the street lights come on, you're supposed to do what? This is a ancient law and custom. You know, that when I say ancient, anything that's 25 years or older is ancient. All right. So we know that when those street lights come on, we had to be what? In the house. That was a law, a custom that we utilize. You know, same thing with, not, being disrespectful to our elders. So these are laws and customs and usages that we've always utilized. We didn't have to have Sharia. I mean, to keep it all the way a buck, a lot of Sharia law is not our customs and our usages. So when people even ask, what's the difference between a Muslim and a Muslim is ancient. A Muslim, that is new, right?
Modern, that's right.
Yeah, modern. Right. You're dealing with modern right. And modern and ancient. It's not the same, even though you still get an aspect of Islam. Again, Islam just means peace. Even when we're talking about Islam, I've never understood so many, because I normally see this with brothers. I don't really see this with the women. I never understood why so many brothers argue and fight amongst each other so much in Islam, because Islam means peace. If you really have peace with you, then you'll have peace with your brothers and your sisters. So are you really living out Islam, or is it just something that you do? Are you really, thinking about what you're doing in between your prayers every day, or just a custom that you've adopted? You're just doing it.
Come on, teach.
Is this really a life that you live? Are you thinking about how you treat your neighbors? Are you thinking about how you treat your children? Are you thinking about how you treat?
That's true Islam. That's true peace.
Yeah. Are you thinking about how you treat, your customers and your co-workers? Are you thinking about it between your meetings? Because we know.
Hey, can I share something as well?
Islam,
as I visit these different tribes, a custom that we have, that they have, they throw up the flag and say peace too.
That's right.
Let me say that again for my wild Indians on this internet. A lot of things we do in the Moorish Science Temple of America, customs, you will find on most of these tribes you go visit. Just like how Noble Drew Ali tell us to hold up our right palm, right hand, and we greet with peace. And every time I'm traveled to different tribes, I go like that, and they greet me like that. Yeah, it ain't, throw that down. You can't do that here. We don't represent that. It's none of that.
Yeah, that's because that's an international sign.
That's right.
Peace. That's the same sign that you'll see on the Buddha statues.
That's right.
Shout out.
You know what they told me? What you think Sitting Bull was doing? They actually have pictures of him demonstrating the five the same way.
That's right.
In their customs. Not only him, there's others. So I'm saying this to say to my people that's on social media that's just coming into this information, and some of us have traveled and ate with those and built with those and etc. Have you ever been to a sweat lodge? Whether you respect the culture or not, I have. The fry bread. taking on whatever they're doing. If they're imitating the coyotes, have you did these things in meditation classes? I have. I have sat with my brethren and sisters as true Americans. So when you see me on these platforms, I'm not trying to get you to join the Moorish Science Temple of America. You already said you tribed up. But you ain't tribed up if you still going to Walmart and these stores and they making you pay sales tax. Shut up and sit down. Because you're an internet Moor, or you're an internet Indian, or you're an internet whatever. We're not here for that. You shouldn't be paying sales tax. And don't let these people tax you to death, is what Noble Drew Ali taught us. And we stand on that. And we're not breaking the law. And the government will say, this is not a sovereign citizen move that they're doing. Y'all better wake up, man, and get into the laws to free you and your family, man, woman, and child, is a nation. Now, how and what are you doing to validate that as a nation? I'm talking about your household, your family. Outside of the internet, who are you in your community? In the county, are you protected? You're supposed to be protected by the law. Don't say, oh, I don't use none of their laws, man. Get out of the way, all those different ways of thinking, because you're out here setting yourself up to get hurt and get your family hurt. With that, I yield. Peace.
Definitely. Shout out to our brother Red Squid.
Salute, Squid. How you doing? Peace to you, Richard.
Peace.
Well, how you doing, brother?
I'm good.
I'm a disappear prayer about to come in shortly.
Okay. Good. Yeah, just building on just building, teaching the Moors, really. A lot of times Moors tend to want to veer on the line of being like Pan-African and Pan-Africanism. I don't know when that really came into the movement, but that is far from what the movement was established to be. It was never established to be a back to African movement. That's exactly the words of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He always told the Moors, during that time, that we were true Americans and that we definitely needed representation. And so he galvanized around that thought, that aim, and that idea, because a lot of us have forgot that there were constitutions with many of these tribes, and we no longer had representation in Congress. And he made sure that we had that representation in Congress. So the brothers and sisters in Chicago endorsed Oscar the Priest, and he sat on several committees to assist us, and all we really did was just fight each other, like you see on a lot of these panels today. Instead of getting legislation passed on our behalf, we just fought one another. Shout out to my brother OTK. What's going on, cousin?
Where he at? He ain't make his way up? No. He better make it. Man, he know where he's supposed to be. What up, OTK?
OTK. Yeah, OTK.
You don't get to sit in the back over here, brother. You got to be out front. And my channel been hit about 3 times messing with OTK and Sharice. And my TikTok has been hit for BAP and smoke signal. And now on Facebook, they got me, Dan Calloway, and Sister Bethy, the swindle guy. Every other day, he's speaking about us and Asir. So, wow. Man, we might as well get close while we can. Look, I ain't never watched anything of Brother Dan Calloway or know. I don't know nothing about him. Period. Right? I heard other people say great things about him, etc. So now to be thrown in a bus with him and Sister Bethy, and I mean, it's just like, okay, what's next?
Yeah, don't
About we
worry about
scamming
that.
the people and all kind of crazy stuff, man. Like there's not been one program where he can put all three of us, all the people that he named, on any platform together at any time. It's just that all of them are teaching true Americans, original Americans. So they got to go after all of us. All of us are wrong. Everybody's wrong. You got to believe in the slave boat. You got to come from Africa. If you're not talking that, everything else is wrong. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with those because the prophet tells us that you're going to have people who are going to do that.
There's got to be a medium to find that somebody, not everybody's wrong. Like from any angle, you know what I mean? It's like some middle. I hate to be corny, but it's like some type of way that is connected to everything, right? And I listened to something Infadishi did 10 months ago earlier, and he had a real interesting spill. I seen the brother around, but I ain't never get the background on him or whatever. So I heard what he said about it, how he came into the knowledge or whatever like that. And then he talked about how he broke down Egypt from the Imhoteps or whatever have you. You know what I'm saying? And he explained it. He explained a way where he said that the converts to Islam was first, it was like on the Meta Netter type swag, and he said that they was converted to Muslims, and then eventually they became the Moors over there on the East Coast, on the east side of things. And I thought that was an interesting look at it, how he connected the relationship between the original Egyptians and their methods, and how the social economic machine changed because of the times and the things that is going into. And I had somebody in my chat had brought to my attention that in Arabic the term for dark is Muslim. And I'm like, oh snap, that kind of is like, yo, so you saying that the word dark in Arabic is Muslim, and then we broke down what Arabic was, and that was mixed. That's what it literally means. And so it's like, people had put names on things that eventually muddied the waters because people ain't really that faithful. They just, I guess, they're in a system or something of that sort. But I think that the unifying truth is that it's the teacher versus the student. And the students are the ones that are saying we never had a teacher, and we, civilization we brought up on ourselves. And I think it's becoming clearer and more clear on both ends, whether it's Kemetic or Aboriginal, that these people wasn't original teachers about nothing.
That's right.
So I know that there's a unifying thread there. It's just a matter of time before either people get to it or we're going to be brought to it by, divine will and things like that.
It's really happening now. It's really happening now. And right now in this process is the weed in and weed out. Right now, before there's a picnic, we get to see who's who before they come to this sacred land where we got our women, our children, our grandma. You see what I'm saying? So we get to see, hold on, now this event ain't for that particular person. You see? So it's a process. I was on TikTok, and TikTok, they already having like little meetings, greetings, where it's so many different brothers and sisters in their tribe already, and all of them come from different schools of thought. They're not arguing, they're not bickering, they're getting things done for their community, and they all vegan. So I like that. You see what I'm saying? And I know there's other communities that's not on social media that's been doing it like this. You see what I'm saying? And they don't even like to be. So if they can do it, we can do it. But we just got to come together. We got to weed out all the bad stuff, all the character, and let's get to business. Food, shelter, and clothing. What can you do? What can I do? How can we help each other? Et cetera, et cetera. Or, hey, food deserts, brothers and sisters, throughout America. I know brothers and sisters in the streets who coming together. They ain't no Aboriginal. They ain't saying none of that. They ain't more, none of that. And they going throughout America doing the food desert. Wherever there's a food desert, they opening up stores. Tell me they can do it and we can't do it. So eventually it'll happen in all step stages and degrees. All these different tribes, all these are different families. That's why I said we got to keep a diplomatic approach with one another, because each one of you represent a nation. And when we come together, we sitting together as the family of nation from right here in America. We are the children one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you. We all come from here. Period. Forget about your God. I ain't trying to be disrespectful. I don't care how you worship your God or your gods. I don't care who your prophet is. I know good people through their works and their deeds, their actions. Mm. There's no tribe I ever went and sat with ever said, oh, hey, I need to know this about Allah. And come on, man. When we got real problems going on, think we're going to sit there and play games with each other? Real problems going on. Those problems in the 1990 something when I first started visiting tribes, and we were sitting at the table because the same person got their feet on our neck, got their feet on their neck. Mm-hmm. No disrespect. Hebrews in there as well. Come on, man. So I don't get it on YouTube or any other this when I see brothers and sisters doing that, because now who sent you?
Right.
Because we ain't got time for that. In 1928, they were able to do it. Noble Drew Ali and them did it. Everybody that was rocking with him was not a part of the temple.
Right.
We got documentations of it. That's why I said the families of the Asiatic. Man, we respect everybody. But you notice as we go to people platform, they always come with disrespect for us.
Yeah,
but I accept that because they let me know that I'm standing as God. Attacked for no reason. But you still keep your hand out to assist your brother and your sister. This is what Noble Drew Ali tell us. He tell us learn to love instead of hate. And that's heavy, man.
It is.
That's heavy.
It take understanding.
But I gotta do it for the future to come, man. He said that it's gonna be people with their eyes wide open they'll tear up something, man. Huh? And I'm seeing my shorties out here in Chicago, in East St. Louis, with ARs.
Yeah.
With the fentanyl. They tearing up something, man. They having shootouts with the police on the regular now.
Wow.
And homie gonna make a rap about it.
Yeah, it's wild.
While we on here arguing about what?
It's like it's at least two different branches. It's those that are the wild, the youth that's out there. They say then go to college. And then you got the brothers and sisters that did go to college. I think that they both need to be reached with the knowledge, the unifying thread. It needs both of these sectors, if you will, is the pertinent ones. It's the ones, the guys and the ladies and guys that's coming out of the college under the Divine Nine and, you know, whatever that might be. And then those that just is out there, they need to be, you know, y'all that's graduating college, they need to stop that witchcraft bullshit somehow. And you got to make that unpopular somehow and make it that the real unity is those that's not, that it need to be made with those that's not involved, that's not initiated, and not members. Yeah,
that's when you bring in, that's when you're supposed to bring in, you know, this information to actually teach. So if we were going into the universities and we were actually teaching and, you know, providing this information and showing them, right, you have to do it in a way where it immediately, you know, catches the eye, it captivates, because you got to think, you got young minds, right? So we know that the young minds are impressionable, and the first thing they do is they look at, you know, they look at everything. So if you come in there, you talking about, you know, what we should be doing and what we're not doing, and, you know, we don't have anything to offer, you know, they're going to go out and just look at what seems to be the most popular, like, you know, like the just like, you know, voting today, right? Our people are so fixated on what it looks like, but they're not looking under the surface of what's really going on. And what's really going on is this woman ain't got nothing to do with us. It never had anything to do with us other than putting us in prison. So, you know, we have to put together programs and provide resources that's not just going to, you know, grab the youth, but will keep them, you know, activated and keep them, you know, aware of, you know, who we are, what we've always been. And it's okay to, you know, go to certain places and, you know, be a part of certain things, but you never lose yourself in any of it. And so I think a lot of this, you know, we're starting to see the phasing out of the back to Africa, the Pan-Africanism, even though you have those who strongly will always adhere to it. That's cool. That's fine. Each of us have a right to be able to exercise who we believe that we are. So, you know, I think it should be spent more on, instead of, you know, arguing, fighting about, you know, and I'm just talking about amongst those who are saying, I'm indigenous, I'm Aboriginal, I'm American Indian, I'm, you know, Hebrew Israelite, I'm Moor. All of those, if you're still saying you American, you still saying you Aboriginal, you know, you still, all of the other stuff that's added into it, it needs to just, those are the things that I believe there's always some type of argument. And I don't care what conversation is. If I had $1 for every time there is a conversation about one thing and the word more is brought up, I would be a multi-billionaire. I don't care what platform it's on. It happens on Clubhouse, it happens on TikTok, it happens on YouTube, it happens on Twitter, it's on Facebook, it's on Instagram. The subject can be something so far away, but the more is going to always be brought into it. That is the unit, that's the unifier. If the more is always brought into it, there is something really about this more. So I have up the dictionary up, right? This is from the ancient Scottish language, right? That, and it's talking about the word more, just really just is a representation of, you know, Moorish, Moor, dark race, swarthy, dark, blackamoor, and Negro, right? And this is from the ancient Scottish tongue. So when we're talking about more, you're just talking about a people who had the authority to be able to more, which was to be able to travel without being hindered. Everybody didn't get to do that.
That's true. I found that that the laws really did start with people that was on those oceans and who set up those connections on those port cities. Like that was really the foundation to laws and how cities was ran. Long ago I came across Moria as a Hebrew word for teacher, and that always stayed with me because I didn't see where the disconnect is if I know it and I could be rough around the edges, but I mean a lot of these brothers and sisters have been studying for years and years, and I just don't know why amongst the Kemetic community there's a disconnect with if they believe in the slave trade, then why is there a disconnect with the Israelites being a part of that? You know what I'm saying? I think that the whole thing about where the boats was is an easy fix to that, and they just repurposed. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it don't debunk that. If a person acknowledged that Israelites was on the slave trade, then that would be a piece to the puzzle that Israelites was in Europe because it was expelled. And when you bring up the definition about how more could mean these things, it reminded me of what I just learned the other day, and that they had the term Muslim for dark. So these people that was not people of color and they was mestizos and whites, they was creating new terms to put on the same people. And some of it stuck. Like Moor you could take Moor all the way to the Australians.
Yeah.
With the Maori, right? And you don't get no older than that. You know what I mean? So the word itself, like they can't even do away with the language because they ain't making nothing up. So at the end of the day, it kind of looked like the truth of the matter is these others versus original man. If you want to be real simple,
that's exactly what it is. At the end of the day, these others versus the original man. Definitely. Shout out to my brother OTK on the panel. What's going on, cousin?
Salute.
Hey, what's up, sis? What's up, Rascal? How you doing, man? Brother Rich Neo Bay. Man, I don't know why I didn't get the alert, but I'm glad my brother Rich Neo Bay tagged me. I'm just sitting there listening, man. You know you one of my teachers. You know that. You know you one of my teachers of the Moorish temple. You know what I mean? Even if you ain't with a temple, you still one of my teachers of the Moorish science. How about that?
Definitely. What about what caused that? King of the Moor?
Who that? Darvis? I don't know. Man, listen, I'm gonna make sure Darvis get in contact with y'all because Darvis like bills like this. We really don't like all that argument stuff, man.
Right.
I became argumentative because I became protective over information because I'm passionate and then over women. I because I come from a matriarchal society, so I mean. But I see now that I see what the whole detour was to get me like that because the information that I was bringing. But it's all good though. But I'm just sitting here learning. I like that definition that you just brought up just now. I just seen that, and that was old Scottish, so that was heavy. I like that, sis. Peace out to Red Squid too, man. You know what I mean? I'm just sitting here learning, man. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Like I always tell you, you and Darvis, y'all remind me of my cousins, my uncles, and St. Helena Island, Beaufort County, South Carolina. But a lot of us are really related And it's crazy because most of us don't know until we actually show up to the family reunion. And many of us are distant cousins and don't know it. And so, and then
Grandma said, well,
And,
Noble
and you
Drew
know,
said,
and you know what I found out about that, K Club. I mean, cut your wisdom, thousand pardons. But what I found out about that is that it's so many generation of branches. Just say like my people them from Buford them came 1700s, start getting document 1800s. Then they came to Goose Creek and married into my grandma's side of the family. You see what I'm saying? That's that side that everybody got all these questions about the paint me. If y'all look at any of my shows from Unscrambled Minds, they always ask me, OTK, so you saying you don't have no African? I said, look, man, I said, it's one side of my bloodline that I'm not familiar with, and I only know that they come from Barbados, and that is that Pinky bloodline. But when I traced them back to being Moors and being with King John in them. But I'm gonna leave it like that. But you know, they brought up some genealogy that they thought was mine, because without any information, just because I give you one name, there's no way you can trace that back to OTK. And I'm gonna destroy that as soon as I get off this strike. I'm gonna show all that stuff that them boys show. I ain't even gonna say the name. I'm gonna show all of that. But one thing about me is that I know that the slave trade happened. I never say that it didn't happen. I just say that it didn't happen the way that they tell us.
Right.
Correct. So that's why I came out bringing the American Indian slave trade out of South Carolina into perspective, because everybody's saying it's not happening. It didn't happen like that. So everybody keeps saying like, yo, why you say that? Well, now I'm here to show you why they say that. This is why it didn't happen like that, because we see way more American Indians getting taken out than Africans or so-called Africans being brought in. And then the thing is, why I keep asking them is, who are these Africans? Are they considered black or are they considered white at this time? And that's a problem for them, but it's all good. You know, OTK just sit back in the cut, and I listen to this because, believe it or not, sis, the stuff that y'all be talking about and the information that y'all be bringing helps correlate with what I got going on in South Carolina.
Yeah, you're gonna definitely see it, South Carolina, Georgia, a lot, especially that whole coast, that South Carolina, Georgia, Florida coast. You're gonna you cannot not see it. If you are, it's because you're literally turning a blind eye to it because you don't want to. Shout out to Empress Me. Thank you for coming on. But yeah, when you look at, I always say this, it's crazy how, how we're taught that these people just came up on the East Coast and just subdued us and took over everything. But then when you see all the treaties that were signed, and these were some lopsided treaties, you don't see anybody with a L or a Bay or even a day, right? They're like, chief such and such and chief such and such and chief such and such. I just be trying to figure out, where is the same energy for all these chiefs that were signing over this land? Like when McIntosh tried to sign over the land in Georgia, they was like, Moytoy and them was like, no, we going to DC. We're not playing none of that. Like, you didn't have any authorization to do any of what you did. So I'm looking now and I'm saying, well, why if we're American Indians, why you don't have the same energy for many of your ancestors that did sign over? There's a lot of ancestors that did sign over land.
They don't want to admit to that. they don't want to admit to that. They don't even want to admit that they treat the chiefs and their families probably it could be a white man.
Man,
You know what I'm saying? That shit.
And listen, it's wild. It's a wild game, and I think that's why. I got so much backlash when I started bringing out the American Indian slave trade, because it showed what tribes was doing what and who was leading them
Can you
and who
imagine?
they was in business with. And now and that kind of put a separation between the American Indian tribes. Cause now it's like, oh shit, we cousins. I mean, excuse my language.
No,
Oh
you
stuff, we cousins. But damn, dog, y'all mean to tell me y'all did this up there?
Yep.
That might bring up some old beefs that don't even exist until people remember what their ancestors did.
But hold on, Red Squid. I'm glad you said that, old beef. Let's be for real. In Chicago and in South Carolina, most of the black on black crime comes from past beef.
Yep.
Somebody in your family kills somebody in my family, and it just don't end.
Yep.
There you go, Red Squid. You just there you go, Red Squid. And it's still like that today, bro. We just don't know it.
Just don't know.
We just don't know it, my brother. There you go.
You made me think about how many times people beefing with somebody. That you make me think that it could be an old beef. You don't even know it's the old beef.
You don't even know. And the crazy stuff is, once you finish tracing it, you're gonna see that they came from probably two brothers or two sisters. No, I'm talking serious. I'm laughing because it's like funny to me, but it's a sad thing. But to be honest, man, listen, man, when I was growing up in Chicago, my two uncles didn't come to the festivals at the same time. They came at separate times.
Wow.
Yeah,
Two brothers now. Two brothers. I'm telling you, my uncles, two brothers. I didn't understand it back then, but as I got older, I was like, holy, you know what I mean? Like, wow, word. Because the younger brother schooled me, my Uncle DeVale.
In the meanwhile, they demonize people of color in all these other nations.
Yep.
The Queen got the Moorite from the Scottish. They got an old tale of the Tuatha De Danann going to war with the Fomorians. But when you listen to that story, the Fomorians is monsters.
Yep.
And you go to Tibet and Korea and wherever in them other countries, they make the black mask for their parades a monster or a demon. Wow. And it's the same thing that they do with that. I think it's some truth into the Tuatha De Danann, but it's not exactly the way they told it. Like they probably did that in that story. They say they landed from somewhere else. These white folks were right there, and they burnt their ships when they hit the shore, so they couldn't leave. I think they did that shit in more than one place. It's just that story, they make it sound like it's an isolated event, but I think that is the swag they used on many places.
Definitely.
And they're going to demonize like how they took Moor and they turned him into an Indian. And then what do they call Indians? Savages. So how you go from a teacher to a savage, now you're a Negro, and then all that whole list. So it's like breaking that down to where they can't run those plays no more. And they partly helping because you see they don't know how to run shit.
No,
So we need the youth to realize that waking up is way more powerful than gang banging and all that other stuff. Real talk.
Right. And let me drop a jewel for you real quick, Goddess K Glover, and for Red Squid. You absolutely correct. So we need to understand who was the people saying savages. It was the Spanish. They was
Yeah.
calling the Indian savages in order to fulfill that Papyrus Bull and the dumb diverses and all of that once they came back.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? The Pope gave them that access and told them, here, take this with y'all. But we got to remember, at first, Ferdinand, Isabella did not fund that trip.
Right. It was the church.
It was the church, it was Jews, it was Christians, it was Muslims that funded that trip.
Mm-hmm.
It was about 5 or 6 of them that I found so far that funded Christopher. So since he didn't find no gold, he was looking for Prester John's gold. He didn't find it. He brought American Indians back.
Yeah,
That started the transatlantic slave trade. That was the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade. And they did that for hundreds of years before the thought of any African coming across here.
Mm.
But see, the Africans was on the ship with them now. Don't get it wrong. Free Africans was coming across here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They was coming across here, too. Now, see, that's where a lot of people have problems at. Because now, when they think of the name Moor, they think of that as a Negro, a black person. So they say, okay, Christopher Swarthy, he can be considered a Moor, but he's a Moor. But these black people that's coming with Christopher, these are the Moors. Look at their hats. You know he's the navigator. He's showing them how to get here and all that. That's where the problem come in at, and that's where the hate come in at, because now they associate these free black people that was coming with the Moors or the conquistadors and the inquisitors. And that's where the problem comes in at.
It's like they created a version, a sellout version of each section.
Exactly, my brother.
I think that I'm glad that y'all brought up how it was a Catholic mission.
Yeah.
Now, how do we get what Catholics is we talking about? We talking about the white Roman, or we talking about the black Romans, right?
Well, when you talk about when you talk about white and whiteness, right? During that time, you got to remember, white just meant European. It didn't mean what it means today. So today we're taught white is, the pale skin, the pink people, the white tea people, the pale skin. No, back then white meant European, right?
Correct.
Some type of aspect of you being from Europe. Now, when we also look at that, you got to remember, right? We was fighting literally. Even after 1865, we were still fighting. After 1865, so you're talking about hundreds of years of a war, even to this day. I mean, look at right now. These people need the so-called black vote. If we're not that important, you got to think about it. If you're not that important, nobody checking for you. But you got to be so important that you actually have a pseudo vote just for you. No one else has that vote.
Yeah, I'm thinking about how they created the Catholic Church off the strength of the story of Peter, who was supposed to be an apostle of Black Jesus. And the way I see it is that they took they took something and they made it into something in order to make control. Like they saw the power in it, like how you would see somebody with talent and you'd be like, I'm gonna sign him to my label. And it was like Paul was like, I'm gonna proselytize this shit about Jesus Christ and then make it a Jesus religion. And this is just to control Christians, because it seemed like that Christianity thing was one of the first to like publicly break the norms of you got to be educated. Now you could just believe. And that's going to include these Gentiles, so to speak, and their revolutionary ideas that it might be with, you know what I mean? Like that people was like, well, all right, we're going to make it where it's cool to be a Christian. Just so that, you know, we could keep control of people.
Catholicism down. Christianity, it broke Catholicism down. That's why when they asked Jesus, like, yo, hold on, what about Moses' ways? He said, look, I'm not here to change the ways from what people know, but I'm telling you like this. This is the way to the God. And this is the way to the Father through by me. So I don't care what y'all believe back then. Y'all see that didn't work. But I'm here to tell y'all this is the way to the true path. So Jesus came in so they could stop. So in the book, you see there's a battle between almost 3 gods in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus came to say, no, it's only him. Now, when his name became Yahweh, I don't know. I do not know that Yahweh way and all of that. I'm still reading and dissecting that. But I know Jesus was trying to make the distinction between El, Belial. Oh man, and what was the other god? Ra. Let's not forget Ra. Okay, so it you know what I mean, it's interesting, but we got to understand, man, that the same way you got good, you got bad. The Old Testament told us eye for an eye, and I ain't gonna lie to you, man, that was scary growing up.
Yeah.
Like, man, you go and do something to that family, boy, just know something gonna happen back to your family, boy. That was scary growing up.
Yeah, that was a little karma.
Right. And it wasn't necessarily the fear of God. It was the fear of what goes around really come around.
Right. Yeah.
You kill my cat, I kill your dog.
Right.
Right. Kill my cat, I kill your dog. You know, but when Jesus came along, Jesus said, nah, turn the other cheek, y'all.
Well, you know, I think that turn the other cheek shit was like, if that's what they willing to do. Like, you know, like he did say shit like you know, pay unto Caesar what's unto Caesar. You know, we do you know,
he did say somebody come and rob you and they want your pants. Don't just give them your pants, give them your jacket and everything too.
Yeah, what they willing to do. How far are they willing to take this shit?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So now
he didn't say what happened after they slap you the second time.
Right, but he might have been outmatched. He might have got caught slipping. So he gave everything up. I bet. I live today. I'm gonna catch you later. You know,
because you got the wisdom to know what goes around come around.
Right. Like, yeah, I'll catch up with y'all later.
Yeah, be secure in that knowledge.
Yeah, but man.
Because the heathens, they didn't realize the hole they was digging for themselves, because the way I see that time of Christ, that's when really that race war shit was kicked off. That's 2,000 years ago. That's 2,000 years. And that's like, that's potentially how long, you know what? They could have been beefing before that, these two people, these types of people. And I think it's when you listen to Jesus and what's going on with John the Baptist, that's them dealing with the Romans coming in and, you know, setting up a law system or something to that effect that was, you know, it was originally, of course, it was created by Africans, everything the Greeks and them have. So, but by the time Jesus showed up, them Slavics was on that military time, you know, and him saying Jew and Gentile really opened the floodgates to make it to where they're not going to be able to just snuff out and kill out all the Israel, all the Muslims, all the, you know what I mean, what was probably a more in the eyes of these strangers, you know what I mean, back in them days. I think the war, I think it's shit go back to Cain and Abel. Really, like we dealing with the devil. We dealing with people that is lawless, and so I say those is like demons. Like I think the Romans moved like demons. They was dressed, they had a little armor, but they was nasty. They wasn't educated. They was filthy, and they still operate in that filthy way. And so when it came to Columbus, like I heard things about the Black Catholic Church and shit, and now that's different from something else. And so I don't really know. I just know that the Catholic Church is on behalf of a racist Orient. You know what I'm saying? Today. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you look at it, it's all these different nations. They do, even though they're different, they all having a role in, like the Queen said, turning a blind eye to what the facts is. And that is, y'all gonna demonize Black people. And you think that, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a karmic law. Like the way I look at it, that, when I was talking about bringing it together or it being brought by divine will, like, look, man, I think that if we get remembered by people with credit, if the people is resituated by people with dominance, and I don't believe that Europeans are those. I don't believe that the Orientals is those. So I'm very optimistic about the future, because there are people that exist that aren't from any of those demographics. And so I think people should do their best. That's why I like what Noble Ali said about being a good citizen, and making a proper example. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's civilization. That's like showing the way. It's like turn the other cheek in the way. It's like, karmic law, and operate within that karmic law. And we could look at karmic law being the fact that people is waking up to the truth.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree, because we're in the day and the time now where, like you said, the future is bright. The future ahead of us is real bright, because now that we have the actual proof, it's not just, okay, they can hide it any longer. It's right here. It's right in front of us. We got to decide if we're going to pick up the baton and run with it or not, or are we just going to stay in that dead state. And a lot of us really love, I'm an 80s baby. So the generation right before me loved the Black Power movement. I mean, everything is, Black.
Come on now. Almost all of us did, definitely. You know what I'm saying? That's all you had. Red, black, and green, African Bubata, everything from New York was demonstrating hip hop African.
Yeah. So
Islam and African.
Being able to utilize hip hop and bringing out, okay, this is, who we are. Go back to your ancestors' original ways. It's messing up a lot of systems right now, but at the same time, it's helping us get into position where we need to be, where we're supposed to be. And like you said, the karmic debt that we had to go through as people, as a society, is run its course. That's why so many of us are awakened. I remember back in the day, and like my husband, he'll say the same thing. Remember back in the day when, as just Moors, we was trying to tell people that we wasn't Black, and we used to get it used to be, what you mean you not Black? You hate yourself. You ain't the, and you hear less of that now. You don't get the same sentiment. Now it's more like, you know what? I'm not Black. You know, I do remember my grandmother saying such and such. You know, I do remember now. So it's not like people are finally beginning to wake up. We didn't think that we was going to even be able to see this much where we are now. We didn't think we was going to be able to see this much in our lifetime. And now to be able to see so many of us, you know, that are awake and just know who we are, even though you got those that still want to fight us and try to, you know, explain to us who we are. But just to see it and to know that, man, it's more even to come. It's exciting. And we got a lot of work to do. And like I said, being able to have the curriculums to go to the universities and provide these young brothers and sisters that they are attracted to the divine nines, right? Because the divine nines have made themselves look attractive. I remember a time where they didn't look attractive, but you know, the help of Spike Lee and you know that era, it began to look really attractive. And so now we have to figure out, okay, we need to be able to bring in things that they'll be able to grasp. Like for instance, there's a lot of, and like a lot of your historically Black colleges, there's a lot of fraternities that are created. They're not a part of the Divine Nine. Ain't no hazing going on. Ain't none of that going on. Like you got a lot of bands who create their own fraternities and their own organizations, choirs, and you know. So we have to find, you know, something. Even if we have to I think we should put together a debate league, and with the debate league, have them to, you know, begin to debate one another, but do it at a collegiate level, right? Because the way now the debate league is run, I love that. That's my that's bro right there. But we need to be able to bring it to a university so that the young children will be able to grasp it and really break down the information. You know, just think about it. When we introduce this is now going to bring, you know, collegiate academics into it because they're going to be writing papers on this.
Yeah, I like the idea of debate league. I just think that they should be maybe a website or something where the results are put down on paper and people could see the reference per the topic, so that there's no confusion, so that people don't have to re-argue things that's already been discovered or debunked and things like that. That needs, because you know, 7 years on the YouTube, I've seen a lot of debates.
The same old.
Yeah, but you know, they do not keep track on what was argued and what was the result. So it's like a lot of times people will put their information together, but you know, weeks, months down the line, you got people coming in that's asking the same questions that led to that debate. So it definitely should be some type of order where we get the results, people can check it out and basically document the debates instead of, you know, channels. You know, shout out to the channels that have done it, but we definitely, I think, need some type of directory or something that that the people could go to and see, like, all right, this has been debated,
right?
You know, and that's how we could keep like a good measure on where the people is at. Because yeah, you're right. I think that it'd be interesting to get the college students involved, because they definitely is already. They just don't have to be trolls and secretive, you know. And I think that's what the whole being a part of fraternity sorority does. It makes it where they're going to take the food home, they're going to wrap it up, and then they're going to take it back to the lodge or whatever and discuss it there.
Right.
And that's how a lot of the information get lost, because I don't know. I'm not a part of a lodge, but if there's old heads that's bitter or that or feel like they're shortchanged or that they're chumped because of their views don't match up, that's going to hamper the progress.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to find a way to make it where, we can see who is and who agrees, who don't agree, or something like that. Because they do debate, but they don't say, "Hey, I'm a Mason from lodge number dot dot dot."
Mm-hmm.
They just be under a guise,
Right.
and I don't think that's possible. Like it hasn't been historically.
I always look at no, I'm not a part of a lodge. I've never been a part of a lodge or any of those organizations. But I look at them as, like, for instance, a lot of those organizations, they ain't never get no charter. To keep it a buck, they never got a charter from Europe. They never been a part of that. They created their own. So I'm gonna do a build on this. A lot of lodges back in the day was created based out of being unionized without having to come under the federal directives of being a union.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, you will have the fraternal order of such and such lodge, but they don't have any connections to England. They ain't got no connections to no pale skinned Europeans. This was just us in our communities coming together, being able to unionize without being federalized. Because once you came under the federal banner, like, it was a way for us to still be within our own society without having to take on the federalism, because this federalism is what took really our authority away, coming under that banner. So even after 1865, we still figured out ways of how to, have our own. So within the fraternal order, of course, you would have your church, you would have your funeral homes, you would have, your barbershop, you have your hospitals, you have your grocery stores, and, your cleaners, and, you even have your manufacturing factories. You had all of this through these lodges. These lodges wasn't connected to any, what we think of as a lodge today. That's just something that's been programmed into us today. But we don't look at these lodges who had their own banking, like they're literally their own banking institutions. We had our own transportation companies. We did it under our own version of unionism by creating these lodges. So
I hear that. It reminds me the concept of the guild.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if there was people gathered that all did seamstress, or there was people that did a particular service, there'd be a directory where you could find them and enlist that particular ideally anything you can think of. We should go to a website and get it.
Right.
So whether it's clothes for kids or adults, or if it's accessories or people that's carpentry, the connectivity definitely is on us to utilize the internet to carve out a section, you know what I mean, so that we could function in society, so to speak, but also gather up, you know what I mean. And then, there's also a different way I think that we should go at things, like as far as a whole, and it's not to necessarily go after the things that the ops have instituted. Like it's almost like the Most High got us where he want to bring up the holy ones, then associate, then organize the rest of the people, because it take a certain type of person that has that drive to not be a criminal with these ideas and stuff, not try to be a grifter and all this other type of shit. And if it could be seen clearly that it's a lie that they standing on, and it's going to be better for everyone.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
I think it's something that we can definitely, do, and I'm always in support of, and just providing, even documentation to be able to build institutions, because that's really what we have to do. We have to build institutions and get behind these institutions, and not just saying, okay, well, join my such and such and be over here with me. But because all of us are on these different platforms, all of us are on social media, let's create institutions out of what we're already doing to be able to bring it all together. And that's the whole vision. That's the thought. I know for me and my husband, it's always about being able to support each other, because we are a community, and the aspect of us pretty much saying the same thing, that we're Americans. We're the only Americans.
And with that being said, identifying who the vampire is would help, because if people realize that they're Americans now and they was and their ancestors was, that will give people the identity that, hey, what the fuck is all these what is all these other people rich off of?
Right.
I've heard people from the community talking about, well, if the Jews can do it, why we can't do it? Well, wait a minute. We don't got nobody to parasite off of.
Right.
Like, these people are in another dimension. It's not like they are regular human beings like us.
Right.
Whereas they have the same opportunity. No. They coming from generational wealth, coming from vampires, quote unquote. And I think the music industry, y'all brought up hip hop earlier. The music industry is a great example of that, because what is a Clive Davis to Whitney Houston? And if you see the relationship that a person like Clive has with a person like Whitney, that is paramount. We need to stop that type of shit, because them creatures is mistreating our women and children. And in the industry, what the fuck? What are white boys that have to sign blood contracts at? Where is Eminem with a dress?
Right.
These are concepts that have been intertwined with business, just like how the scripture is intertwined with the law.
Right.
But because people don't know there's a connection, they giving these people passes, but they represent the ops clearly. I think Kendrick Lamar and that Drake beef is a symbol.
Yeah, it is. I think it's the fight the power version of today. They not like us is really a remembrance of they really not like us, and that's everybody that's not like us. Everybody that's not, we have to look at it. I want to say 2019, we have an annual convention every year in the temple. And in 2019, I told all the Moors, I said, look, if y'all aren't ready to go out and dominate every sector in the world, then it's a joke. What are you really doing this for? You doing it just to have friends that, think like you, or you really doing this because you ready to go out and dominate every sector in the world, because that's what every other nation is doing. And it's about dominating us at the end of the day.
Yeah, their time is over. I mean, everybody looked tired on the Gentile side of the field. They to me, they look like yo, just take over. Like, a lot of people are gonna be good with the establishment of status.
Yep.
Because they ain't doing nothing.
They
got no spark to life. They're not, they're making stride in technology only because of AI.
And that's another thing. The AI is not even that bright. You know,
No bullshit.
you tell the AI something, and then it give you an answer, and then you say, well, if this means this and this means that, then why aren't you saying this? You know, you got to talk to the AI. You got to tell the AI, really, you stupid.
Yeah.
You can't think outside of your programming. You know,
right.
So
and then I'll be teaching the AI.
Yeah.
And guess what? The Sam Altman and Elon ain't saying none of that to AI. That's, you know, I encourage people to dabble with the AI and on the chat, on all that, because they is learning from your input.
Yeah.
And if they don't already,
input in, yeah,
right. If they don't,
this is us really creating history.
Right. Because look, the AI ain't gonna hold no punches back. They're gonna be like, "Yep, I ain't learned this shit from y'all."
Yep.
So I think you can't lose, and it definitely do be learning. Like I caught the AI telling me wrong shit, cutting Africans out and all type of shit, cutting black people out the shit. Like, goddamn. I'll be like, well, ain't this shit real? And they'll be like, yeah, you right. Like, wait a minute. AI supposed to be on point, but look, you know, the more people interact with it, the more different ideas than what Elon Musk and then programming is going to have effect on it. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that it's just a matter of time, because they really are at they're going downhill at this point. You got the richest man in the world, and you see what type of example as a man, as a person he set. And that is far from Solomon. That is far from any of our greats, you know, right? That was in situations like that. So it's like they don't even meet the bar to some ancient examples. You know, so that's why I think that the most advanced and intellectual is seeing us, and we need to be conscious of that. And that include, I mean, dare I say it, but that include whatever that is flying around in them oceans and flying around in them skies, like they in God's sight too. And if people is say, oh, look at the aliens, they're going to have so much power over us. Oh, hold on, they in God's sight too. So we expect them to have a proper way of presenting themselves. And so it's not so much like it's so easy that they could just show up and make a donkey out themselves, because karmic law does exist. They don't want to fuck that money up. They is under pressure, whoever they are.
And they definitely scrambling. Just think about it. Remember, they thought they was going to be able to get all of us to, you know, get the juice jab. And a lot of us was like, no, we're not doing none of that. I grew up where, you know, when I was in elementary school, my mother stopped giving us flu shots. So just about all of my life, we not what? We don't even get the flu shots.
Did you see the models they had where they expected more people to catch it?
Yep.
And see, I think that they realized they could make a plan, because you know, the Freemasons in America got 100-year plans, and the Chinese have 1,000-year plans. That they is a part of such a machine that they don't have no real personal input. They just numbers to make the wheels go around and round. And you know, wind, I think the wind had a lot to do with the fact that Covina ain't catch on like that. They didn't factor in the fact that there's already organisms in the air. They didn't factor in the antibodies people naturally have already. And they didn't factor in none of this shit. They thought it was going to work just like that computer program said it would, but it didn't.
And it didn't. It did not. Yeah, the computer program didn't factor, because the computer is only as perfect as its creator. So,
oh man, and they said Fauci was behind that shit. You look at him; he looked like a little rat.
I always say Fauci is. He looks like the son of Mother Teresa.
Oh, really? I don't know what she looked like. He a little short rat, man. He a little short ass, big eared motherfucker. Like, he look crazy. And then where is he now? Right? He ducking in the dust somewhere.
He ain't nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be seen. Yeah, he need to be brought up on these crimes against humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to end this, brother. Thank you for definitely coming on.
Hey,
I try to come every Thursday and, just go over and read and just teach, trying to wake our people up and reminding them that we are definitely the true Americans. So we got a lot of work ahead, a lot of work we got to do.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, definitely. Shout out to everybody else who came on. Brother OTK came on. Swordfish came on. Of course, my husband, Brother Richard Neal Bay. And who else we had that came through? I know my brother, Chairman, His Majesty, the Magnificent Ill, came through like he always do. Shout out to you. We're going to get out of here. Shout out to everybody who came through the chat. Let's see who came through this chat. Let's see here. Man, this was a good one, y'all. It's definitely a good one, as always. Let's see. We had Brother Michael J. Carr Ill. Islam or see Empress Meek. Peace to you, sis. Let's see who else we had. And that's all who came through. But yeah, y'all, we'll be back here Thursday. I might come on Saturday. I got to go out of town, so I'm not going to be able to do anything Saturday. But for those who are in the Aboriginal American, Indian American community, make sure you check out Aboriginal Power channel. Go to his channel, get the tickets this Saturday. It is a debate on DNA between Ling Ling and YK The Truth. So make sure y'all get y'all tickets. I believe tickets are $10 pay-per-view. And check it out. So with that being said, we're going to get out of here. Again, I enjoy each and every one of you all. And we'll be back doing this again next week. Peace and love.